I had just opened my smartphone when a news report about me was pushed to my screen. The CEO Ethan charity with his wife, donating and flaunting affection. But I had never attended a charity gala. Full of curiosity, I tapped on the push notification. In the video, my always aloof and self-controlled husband and his secretary walked the red carpet hand in hand, and he even carried her down the steps in his arms. Even the host couldn't help but exclaim, "Mr. Ethan and Mrs. Grace are as smitten as newlyweds, making everyone envious." Ethan offered no explanation. He smiled deeply, watching his assistant playfully make a peace sign at the camera. My heart skipped a beat. It seemed Mr. Ethan a new wife. In no time, Chloe, the secretary, became a trending social media influencer. That evening, millions flooded into her livestream. The section was particularly active. "Mrs. Grace, I'm so curious, what's it like being married to a domineering CEO? Can you tell us?" If I may be so bold as to ask, Mr. Ethan is always dressed impeccably in a suit and tie in public, but what does he look like with his clothes off? You don't know that, upstairs? The girls at the company headquarters already leaked that Mr. Ethan works out after work every day. He not only has six-pack abs and a V-cut. Wow, Mrs. Grace, hurry and tell us, is it good to touch? Chloe nodded, blushing coyly, "It's good to touch." The section exploded again. "Mrs. Grace is still shy, what a doting wife, so cute. From today on, I will protect the love between Mr. Ethan and his doting wife." "Mrs. Grace, can you share more about Mr. Ethan's daily life?" Mr. Ethan is so aloof and distant, with such a handsome face, he doesn't engage with fans publicly, his fangirls are practically starving. Last year, Ethan was invited to an international artificial intelligence conference, and the official website posted a video of his speech. Ethan instantly became a viral sensation across the internet with his outstanding low okays and composed speaking. He garnered many fangirls. People often stake out the building to catch candid photos of him below the company headquarters. Because of this, I rarely attended events with him, to avoid our private lives attracting attention and losing our freedom. I frowned. Why did Ethan bring Chloe to the charity gala this time? Before I could ponder further, Chloe spoke. "Mr. Ethan might seem cold, but he's very thoughtful and caring in private. Every morning, he gives me a good morning kiss when he wakes up, then makes me breakfast. At noon, he sends a text message asking what I've eaten, and in the evening, he brings home a bouquet of my favorite roses. I feel so happy every day, as if enveloped in love." Someone in the comment section chimed in. "Enveloped in love? I'm going to get the wrong idea. The comment upstairs is making everyone uneasy. So, how many times a night does Mr. Ethan? You know? What else is there to say? Six-pack abs and a V-cut, if it's not at least 8 times, I'll write my name backward." "Mrs. Grace, is Mr. Ethan also very considerate and gentle in bed?" Chloe covered her flushed face. "Extremely gentle. He knows all my spots, and being with him is particularly pleasurable." "Oh, I'm so embarrassed, you naughty girls, asking such things." My heart was fueled by rage. Ethan sent me a text message at a perfectly timed moment. "Wife, the company headquarters is running project tests tonight. I'll be home late. Don't wait up for me. Go to sleep first. Was he really running project tests, or was he spending the night 8 times in another doting wife's bed? In the livestream, Chloe, unable to resist the fans' urging, began to share intimate details of their bedroom life with Ethan. Every night, he meticulously washes up, saying it's good for women. I spoke in the comment section. "Chloe, you're just a small secretary, what are you doing pretending to be Mrs. Grace?" The section fell silent instantly. Soon, people began to attack me. "Where did this dog come from? Is your owner not around? Barking wildly here. Exactly, such nerve, daring to call our Mrs. Grace by her name. I advise you to apologize to Mrs. Grace right now. Mr. Ethan is a tech guru, if you dare bully his doting wife like this, be careful, he might track you down by your ID and assassinate you." I immediately revealed my identity. I am Ethan's legitimate wife, no fake. "Chloe, come to the company headquarters tomorrow morning to collect your things and leave. You're fired." A flicker of panic crossed Chloe's face, and a few seconds later, she exited the livestream. Ethan did not come home that night. The next morning, I stormed into the company headquarters. A tired-looking Ethan saw me, and the weariness on his face vanished. He pulled me into his office and embraced me, saying languidly, "Wife, why are you up so early today? Did you miss me because I didn't come home last night? Is that why you specially came to find me?" Remembering what happened last night, I was furious. I heard Chloe's voice outside and immediately pushed Ethan away. I'm going to deal with someone, then I'll come back to settle accounts with you. Chloe lowered her head when she saw me come out. Her eyes were red and swollen, clearly having cried a lot last night. Chloe's voice was as soft as a mosquito's hum. Grace, you're here? Let's go to the conference room. I'll explain everything clearly to you. I crossed my arms over my chest and spoke in a booming voice. Say whatever you have to say right here. It'll save you from putting on a pathetic act, making others think I'm bullying you. And who is your Grace? Just call me Mrs. Grace. Chloe looked tearfully at Ethan. Ethan slowly and calmly explained for her. Wife, did you see the video of the charity gala last night? It's like this. Recently, I've been busy testing the new product, right? I forgot to tell the organizers you wouldn't be going, and they had already prepared you our seat and interactive segment, so I brought Chloe instead. With so many cameras, I couldn't let outsiders think there were problems in our marriage, could I? Just as he finished explaining, the RD manager came over to say there was a small flaw with the new product and Ethan needed to take a look. Chloe tried to follow, but Ethan called out to her. My wife is still upset, so you shouldn't come. I didn't beat around the bush and spoke directly. Chloe, let's talk about what happened in the livestream last night. Chloe's face immediately turned pale then flushed, looking very displeased. Mrs. Grace, I had a bit to drink last night, which is why I spoke so carelessly. You know my parents aren't well, and my brother is getting married soon and needs a bride price. My salary from work can't cover the family expenses, so I thought about doing live streams to earn some extra income. Yesterday, seeing so many people in the live stream for the first time, I just got carried away. In reality, Mr. Ethan and I have nothing going on, it was all made up by me. I'll send out a video after work clarifying my relationship with Mr. Ethan and apologizing to you. Chloe fell to her knees with a thud, begging, Mrs. Grace, please don't fire me. I really need this job. Seeing that I didn't speak, she slapped herself repeatedly. The sound of slapping echoed throughout the office. Chloe was a poor student sponsored by Ethan. I was well aware of her family's circumstances. Watching her face swell up, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, I couldn't bring myself to be ruthless for a moment. Don't harbor unrealistic fantasies, and don't let there be a next time. Otherwise, Grace, will show no mercy. I looked at the conference room. Ethan's expression was grave. It seemed he had run into a tricky problem. I went home without saying hello. My best friend Riley called, teasing, Ms. Grace, I heard you went to the company headquarters to assert your authority today? Ho. Could you spare Mr. Ethan? I snapped, I'm letting him off the hook for now, seeing how busy he is. He'll be home tonight, and then I'll show that Hayes what's what. Riley didn't laugh, she just said, I heard the organizers didn't actually expect Mrs. Grace to attend. After all, no one has ever been able to persuade you, a great figure, to show up before. My heart sank, and I felt that the matter was not so simple. Under the dim lights, I fell into deep thought. Ethan and I had an arranged business marriage. Although we didn't have much emotional connection before marriage, he made me feel secure after we wed. He surprised me with new things, every single day of the year. He consciously maintained a respectful social distance from other women. Before came to the company headquarters, even his secretary was male. It was hard not to fall for such a prime man, handsome, fit, and outstandingly capable. The door was pushed open, and Ethan quietly walked in. He loosened his tie and gently pulled me into his arms. Wife, I'm home. Seeing that I didn't respond, he smiled and playfully rubbed my nose. This is the first time I've seen you jealous. You're like a little cat with its claws out. I hadn't calmed down. I'm no kitten, I'm a tigress. Go find your doting wife. Aren't you afraid people will misunderstand you're having an affair by coming here? Ethan chuckled. Still mad at Chloe? She's just a sheltered girl, and it's self-importance after suddenly getting so much attention. Look, she's already posted a video clarifying and apologizing, and the comments below are all criticizing her. Consider it as payback for you. Wife, I swear to God, Chloe and I really have nothing going on. Ethan's gaze was sincere. I softened. The and Hayes families had been allied through marriage for years, their interests deeply intertwined and complex. Moreover, Ethan came home almost every day, working hard to please me every night. I doubted he had the time or energy to have a substantial relationship with Chloe. So, as long as he was willing to humble himself, I could give him an out. But then, remembering Riley's reminder, my expression grew more serious. I cupped his face and warned, Ethan, you know Grace, have a strong aversion to sharing people or possessions. I never like or am willing to share people or things with anyone else. The reason I agreed to marry you, apart from the arranged marriage, was because you were different from other wealthy young masters, you were genuine and untainted. If you ever become tainted, I'll feel repulsed and disgusted, so please don't force me to stop loving you. Ethan nodded. Wife, I'll always be yours and yours alone. With that, he pressed me beneath him. Wife, how about I make it up to you threefold tonight? I propped myself up with my elbow under his chin. Not so fast. I have one condition, Chloe must be reassigned. That's just a word from Mrs. Grace, isn't it? The next morning, Ethan and I arrived at the company headquarters hand in hand. I went directly to the HR department and instructed, Chloe's abilities are insufficient. Do you have any suitable positions for her? Mrs. Grace, a cleaner just resigned. I nodded. Good, that position suits her. After all, it doesn't require much thought. A few minutes later, the HR department manager loudly announced Chloe's reassignment decision. Under everyone's disapproving glances, Chloe clenched her fists and stubbornly asked, Mrs. Grace, according to labor law, reassigning a full-time employee requires a legitimate reason, otherwise. I scoffed and interrupted her, newcomers should start from the ground up, shouldn't they? If you're unwilling, that's fine. Pack your things and leave. There are plenty of people clamoring to get in. Familiar footsteps sounded behind me. Chloe looked at Ethan, her eyes red. Mr. Ethan. Mr. Ethan, do you have any objections? Ethan smiled nonchalantly. You can decide on such insignificant people. Ian matters. At this, Chloe seemed to lose all her strength. Mrs. Grace, I will comply with the arrangement. With that, she changed into a cleaner's uniform and went to scrub toilets. The onlookers whispered amongst themselves. Heh, she's finally getting what she deserves. She used to look down on everyone, relying on Mr. Ethan's favoritism. Now she's reduced to scrubbing toilets. Should I take a huge dump to spite her later? Yes, absolutely. I'm still fuming about how she ordered me around to do this and that when she first arrived. We have to make her utterly miserable. I glanced at Ethan out of the corner of my eye. Seeing no reaction from him, the weight on my mind lifted. I clapped my hands and went with Riley to get a spa treatment. The HR department manager was very proactive, giving Chloe a lot of strenuous tasks. Ethan turned a deaf ear to it all. A month passed peacefully, and our third wedding anniversary was approaching. I specifically took Riley to the mall to go on a shopping spree. From a distance, I saw Ethan walk into a jewelry store. Ethan is quite something. I heard he's been swamped with work lately, but he still remembered your wedding anniversary. Truly a perfect husband in our circle. Riley praised him lavishly beside me. My heart swelled with joy. Back home, I prepared a romantic candlelight dinner myself, changed into Ethan's favorite maid outfit, and waited for him to return. But by 8 o'clock, Ethan still hadn't appeared. I called him. At first, no one answered, and then his smartphone was simply turned off. Ethan never failed to answer my phone. Even if something important came up, he would pick up and explain. My heart suddenly tightened. Could something have happened to him? In a panic, I called Ethan's new secretary. He stammered, unable to clearly explain where Ethan was or what he was doing. It wasn't hard to guess then. Ethan wasn't at the company headquarters, nor was he tied up with work or some legitim 8 person. Unless it was Chloe. My heart sank, and I quietly enjoyed the meticulously prepared candlelight dinner alone. Just as I was finishing the last piece of steak, the door suddenly burst open. Ethan's face was grim as he yelled at me. Grace, I used to just think you were pampered, but I never imagined you'd lost your humanity. Chloe said something wrong. She was cyberbullied, bullied by colleagues, demoted and had her salary cut to scrub toilets. She's already received her punishment. Why won't you even spare her family? Do you only care if you force her whole family to their deaths? Is with a powerless and unassuming girl really that amusing? He saw me calmly sipping the red wine in my glass. His anger intensified. He swept the dinner plates and wine bottles off the table. They shattered with a crisp sound. Ethan warned, I advise you to be a kinder person. Don't challenge my boundaries anymore. Ethan stormed out. The space returned to silence. I searched online with some keywords and quickly located Chloe's newly opened account. She was wearing an exquisite jewelry necklace around her neck and posted, showing off. A 1-year anniversary gift specially prepared for me by Mr. Ethan. Mr. Ethan also said that a lot of unpleasant things have happened recently, so he specially gave me a vacation to adjust my mood. He hopes that when he sees me again, I'll still be his energetic little secretary. Actually, I wanted to tell him that just one word of comfort from him would be enough. I was enraged, yet I laughed. Flaunting their affair so openly like this, how could I not help stir things up? I forwarded the link to Riley. Riley, get all your influencer accounts active. By tomorrow morning, I want this story about the boss and his secretary to go viral. Ethan, I told you long ago, Grace, am no angel. If you provoke me, you will pay the price. Riley owned a successful media company with hundreds of verified accounts, each boasting millions of followers. That night, all the influencer accounts simultaneously posted congratulations. Little Secretary's 1-year anniversary, the hottest CEO Ethan sends $1 million jewelry to celebrate. Fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. That night, millions of bot accounts commented below. Whose good secretary gets $1 million anniversary gift? Oh, it's Mr. Ethan's. Who's protecting the little secretary's feelings? Of course, her Mr. Ethan. Mr. Ethan, I think your secretary looks a lot like Mrs. Grace. Is it time for the new to replace the old? Does Ethan's company need another secretary? I mostly just really want that $1 million entry gift. The next morning, multiple topics dominated the trending topics. Hashtag wealthy family little secretary $1 million anniversary gift hashtag CEO protecting his doting secretary's feelings hashtag Ethan Chloe hashtag to further fuel the fire. The charity gala and Chloe's livestream from that night were also brought up. High society gossip always attracted the most attention. Oh my god, the high society is such a mess, Mr. Ethan and his little secretary are playing quite the game. Exactly, in this day and age, any man can have his public image just crashed. Didn't the CEO always portray himself as aloof and distant? I'm going to turn from fans to haters. I used to stake out his building, and he'd always keep 100,000 miles away from any woman. I thought he wasn't interested in women back then, turns out it was all an act. Poor legitimate wife, I heard yesterday was their wedding anniversary too. I heard the Bennett and Hayes families had an arranged marriage. I have a bad feeling there's a corporate battle coming. It gives me chills. The internet was flooded with insults. Soon, Ethan called. Grace, was that you? I frankly admitted, yes, it was me. Why, Mr. Ethan, what can I do for you? It seems everything Chloe said was true. A woman like you is so cruel and heartless. Chloe has been driven to this state by you, and you still won't let her go? To force her out, you even forcing the doctors to discharge her mother and throw her out of the hospital like an animal? Do you dare say you didn't do this? I let out a mirthless laugh. For 3 years, my husband had no idea of my true nature. Grace, certainly had my methods. But if I wanted to destroy someone, I would do it openly and clearly, making sure they understood why. Moreover, I was always too dignified to stoop to dealing with a gutter rat. Ethan, believe what you want. After all, you have nothing to do with me now, and I don't care to explain myself to you. You don't care to explain to me, or are you worried the more you explain, the more disgusted you'll feel with yourself? Also, what's wrong with me sending a gift to my employee? A handbag you casually buy costs more than that. Is this really something you need to expose online, making the whole world laugh at the Bennett and Hayes families? Your father was shrewd for a while, how could he raise such an idiot as you? I was beyond furious. The door suddenly opened. Arthur and Eleanor stormed in. They snatched my smartphone from me and lashed out at the person on the other end of the phone. You little bastard, since when did my daughter need you to lecture her? If old bastard William hadn't begged our Bennett family to form an alliance with your family, and guaranteed with his own damned head that my daughter would never suffer any injustice marrying into your family, do you think I'd even look at you? Now it was Ethan's turn to be flustered. Arthur continued his tirade. You're having an affair outside, and you still have the nerve to question my daughter? That old bastard William has already broke his promise. I'm going to go demand accountability from him right now. Ethan was somewhat panicked. After all, outsiders perceived the Bennett family's traditions as quite ruthless and aggressive. If pushed too far, they were capable of anything. Arthur, let's talk this tea. Rough calmly. Please don't. Watch your mouth. Who the hell is your Arthur? The moment you started bullying my daughter, you were nothing. Knowing he couldn't argue, Ethan simply hung up the phone. My eyes instantly welled up, and I pouted, looking at Arthur and Eleanor. Eleanor immediately embraced me. Grace, don't cry. He's not worth it. I shook my head. Children only show their most vulnerable side when they're with their parents. After I composed myself, I asked Arthur and Eleanor somewhat nervously. Arthur, Eleanor, if the Bennett and Hayes families fall out, will it significantly impact our Bennett? After all, the Bennett and Hayes families were united by an arranged marriage. Last night, I only thought about getting revenge on Ethan, and in a moment of impulse, I brought the matter to public judgment. This would undoubtedly create a rift between the two families. Moreover, Ethan was already tainted, and I couldn't possibly continue living with him. This would inevitably involve the issue of dissolving their alliance. Eleanor smiled. Your father is no pushover. He had a contingency plan when he decided on the arranged marriage. Exactly. If the Bennett and Hayes families dissolve their alliance, the family would ultimately suffer more losses. Besides, the family appears glamorous on the surface but is actually hollow inside. William was truly not fit to manage the family business. He reckless investments, almost draining the family's resources over the years. Only's tech company seemed somewhat legitimate. But based on my assessment, the product issues his company faced last time must have been very tricky, otherwise, they would have already begun to launch a promotional campaign. I smiled contentedly. Then I'm definitely getting this divorce. Arthur saw that I had made up my mind and immediately called William to schedule a time to discuss the couple's divorce. William, hearing that Ethan and I were getting a divorce, quickly apologized humbly. My dear in-laws, as the saying goes, it's better to tear down a temple than to destroy a marriage. Usually, the two children have a good relationship. Ethan certainly behaved very inappropriately this time, and as a father, I'm not blameless. But please assure Grace, I will drag to the Bennett residence to apologize in person. Whatever beaten or punished, we'll listen to Grace. Can we put the divorce aside for now? I didn't give him any face. William, Grace, won't accept a tainted man, too disgusting to be with. Silence fell on the other end of the phone. That night, the family estate brought Ethan to the family residence. Ethan's suit was wrinkled, and there were several red marks on his face. Clearly, he had already been subjected to family discipline at the family estate before coming. I sat in my seat, finding it somewhat amusing. The of old was always spirited and confident, exuding the air of an elite professional. After only a few days apart, a sense of drawn and defeated hung about him. Especially now, with his cheeks swollen round, he looked swollen round. He no longer resembled the man I had once loved so deeply. In fact, I found him somewhat repulsed and uncomfortable to look at. He was forced him to kneel before me. William yelled at him, still not apologizing to Grace. Ethan looked utterly unwilling, so William kicked him in the back. Bastard, did you hear me? Apologize? Only then did Ethan reluctantly squeeze out 3 words from his throat. I'm sorry. I rolled my eyes at him and said indifferently, completely insincere. William grabbed the stick Arthur handed him and showed no mercy, hitting Ethan on the back. Ethan, I'm telling you right now, if Grace doesn't forgive you, don't even think about coming back to the family estate. I'm sorry. Ethan's voice was much softer this time, but I didn't want to hear it anymore. I waved my hand and called the bodyguards, get them out. Several bodyguards came forward, grabbed by his head and feet and threw him out of the Bennett family's front door. When I loved someone, they were my entire world. If I no longer loved them, they were just a worthless vermin. Suddenly, a crowd rushed forward, taking pictures of Ethan on the ground. Ethan, realizing what was happening, buried his face in his arms. Who are you all? Why are you taking pictures? Laughter erupted all around. Well, isn't this the suave Mr. Ethan? How did he end up so down and out? What happened to your face? It's as swollen as a pig's head. I knew he'd be kicked out by the Bennett family. Ms. Grace is truly a role model for us all, tearing apart, scum, with no mercy. I was so obsessed with this, scum, back then, what a waste. My mom was right, my taste in men is absolutely terrible. Fans are different from me. When they love him, they are willing to give him everything. Once they stop loving him, they become like a raging flood. The next day, these turned from fans to haters posted the video of Ethan's disgrace online. Unlike the insults from a few days ago, this was mass ridicule. Some even compared Ethan's image from a few days ago to his current one. They were worlds apart. In the industry, Ethan's name had become a laughingstock. The he had trampled on now posted on social media, mocking him without restraint. Any man knows that even affairs should be kept discreet, otherwise, what are the consequences? Just look at Mr. Ethan. Oh, you just don't understand. Mr. Ethan is so naive, sarcastic, he sacrificed his promising career for a powerless and unassuming girl. I'm so touched. Ha 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 ha, I'm dying of laughter. Isn't Mr. Ethan an elite socialite? How did he get so swollen, like a pig's head? Mr. Ethan, should I recommend a plastic surgeon to you? You might as well get a new face and a new identity for the rest of your life, otherwise, I'll laugh at you every time I see you. Eating watermelon, as a casual observer, I blissfully scrolled through these social media posts, taking screenshots. I'll look at them later when I'm unhappy, saving them for a laugh later. A few days later, divorce papers were sent to the family estate. Ethan called. Grace, are you a bandit? You're making me leave with nothing. I will not sign this divorce agreement. Even a cornered dog will jump over a wall, let alone a human. I'll just drag this out, there's a divorce cooling off period anyway. You'll never sever ties with me in this lifetime. I said darkly, is that so? I also have ways to get you to divorce, like the issues with your new product. Ethan agitated, and cautiously asked, what do you know? Not much. Just the reason it hasn't been launched, and all product specifications. What do you think would happen if your competitors found out about this data? Ethan surrendered. Give me some time to think. 3 days. I'll give you 3 days at most. 3 days later, we finalized the divorce as scheduled. As I walked out of the clerk's office, I saw Chloe sitting in the passenger seat in the distance. The exclusive seat that once belonged to me was finally occupied by someone else. Chloe saw me too. Her gaze was challenging and her expression smug. She truly had a victorious air. I returned her smile, then turned to Ethan and said, oh, by the way, I'll give you a divorce gift. With that, Ethan received dozens of images. They were all chat screenshots between Chloe and the bald director of the hospital. It turned out that Chloe had made the director cooperate in kicking her mother out of the hospital and leaving her by the roadside, then accused me of ordering it. And the reason the director helped her with the accusation was that she traded her body for it. Ethan broke down then. The day before their wedding anniversary, Chloe him crying to Ethan, begging him to save her mother. Ethan was already deeply guilty because Chloe ostracized at the company headquarters. When he arrived, he saw the doctor carelessly left Chloe's mother by the roadside, constantly berating her. Fueled by rage, he beat the doctor and then went to find the director. The director completely shifted the blame onto me. He said the Bennett family was a major shareholder in the hospital, and when I ordered him to throw Chloe's mother out, he dared not disobey. Ethan's expression went from disbelief turned into intense fury. Finally, he even laughed aloud. Indeed, who was Ethan? He himself on being the smartest person alive, yet he was made a fool of by Chloe. This was no longer just challenging his boundaries, it was challenging his humanity. Ethan angrily pulled her out of the passenger seat. Chloe, confused, repeatedly asked him, Mr. Ethan, what's wrong? Please say something, you're scaring me. Ethan her by the throat and roared, Chloe, was it so amusing to make a fool of me? I've lost almost everything now. Are you happy? Chloe struggled, Mr. Ethan, I don't know what you're talking about. Ethan's eyes showed killing intent. I can make sure you die knowing why. Didn't you feel disgusted when you were engaging in illicit transactions with her body with that bald director? Chloe gave up struggling, squeezing out a few words from her throat with difficulty, Mr. Ethan. You know everything? Chloe, you truly disgust me. With that, Ethan slammed Chloe to the ground. He quickly started the car and, without blinking, ran over Chloe. The ground was instantly a bloody mess. The station was next to the clerk's office. Police quickly responded, pulled up street surveillance footage from the street, and swiftly arrested Ethan for premeditated murder. I was stunned for a long time when I heard the news. I never expected the two of them to end things this way. A month later, I visited him in the correctional facility. Ethan much gaunter. He clutched the phone tightly and, crying, told me, Grace, I'm living in such agony, tormented by nightmares and fleeting good dreams. If only I had trusted you back then, or asked you more questions when I got home, or if I had ignored her from the start, would we still be the couple everyone envied, embracing each other and living out our days together? I didn't answer him. Because there are no what-ifs in life, and no regrets can be undone. After experiencing a failed marriage, Arthur and Eleanor unanimously agreed that men outside the family can't be relied upon. They hoped that the family's businesses would eventually be passed down to me, and that I would join corporation to learn the ropes of management. I actually felt the same way. It's better to rely on oneself than on others. So, I began to focus my efforts, accumulated experience from the ground up at Bennett. 3 years later, I officially entered the core leadership of Bennett. I believe that one day, I will take over Arthur's heavy responsibilities, becoming one to lead Bennett forward. And that day, like the rising sun tomorrow, won't be far off.